Hi everyone, so in this collection of videos I'm giving you a few coaching tips, and they're just quick tips on different topics, and hopefully you enjoy the videos. If you do, feel free to share them with others and also leave your comments. And what I want to talk about in this video is censoring what you watch, what you read and what you hear. I don't know how I can talk about this more because I've been talking about this for probably about 10 years or more. The people that we surround ourselves with, the things that we watch, the things that we hear, listen to, the things that we read, everything we are absorbing or we're rejecting. And what you have to think about is the more you absorb some of these things, whether it's messages on social media, whether it's things that you've watched on TV, the news, whether it's being around people who are saying negative things to you, not everyone has the capability or the resilience to be able to reject those things. Not everyone has the ability to be able to say, well, that doesn't apply to me, or that's not true. So the problem is people are absorbing all of this stuff and then they're feeling unhappy, and you're seeing lots of people walking around miserable, and that's because they're absorbing all the things on the news about the bad stuff. They're absorbing all the things that their partner or their family or friends are saying about them that is negative. They're watching, reading, and everything around them is just negative stuff. I mean, I went on YouTube yesterday, and again, it was all of these people just talking about how Britain is broken. In fact, I've stopped watching the videos now because it's just people complaining, moaning about how bad everything is. And I'm just thinking, I want to just put a disclaimer. I'm not saying that people should be in a dream world and people shouldn't express how they're feeling. But I do think some of these content creators on TikTok and YouTube in particular, they know that there's a market for it. Because if you go on to some of these channels where they're just talking about the negativity, they're exaggerating it up, they're dialing it up to a level, and they're getting loads of views. So they're doing it more and more and more. But the reason they want the views is so that they can then obviously monetize their YouTube channels, or they can get money off TikTok. But what you have to think about is they're not actually helping you, because they're not giving you any tips or solutions. They're just doing this long rant about how bad things are. And to me, I don't think that's helping, because it's not even that they're saying, right, they're not even expressing. It doesn't feel authentic, not in all cases, because in some it does. But the point is, if you were to just watch those videos all day, you'd feel like rubbish. You would feel, I'm a trained counsellor, and when I watch a few of them, I watch 2 or 3 of them, and I just feel like my mood changes just from watching, because you just have a string of people just all saying the same thing. Rents have gone up. I made my own little rant. I think I made one talking about rents going up, but even in that I didn't go too far. The point is, we need to censor some of the things which are negative, because we need to get balance. You can see beauty in life, you can see ugliness in life, you can see bad thing, there's negative, there's positive. If you absorb too much of the negative, then you're not going to feel good. I personally need things to feel good. I need to spend time with family, I need to go for walks, I need to interact with people, I need to have good engagement with my clients, I need to have things to look forward to. I'm already planning in my diary, so I'll book things to go on little short breaks. Then I'm planning for things for next year and all this sort of stuff. You have to have light and dark. So censorship is key. I know that there's going to be a time, because I don't watch the news at all, I'll get little clips of things. I said to myself, because there's an election coming up, I've got to I'll see the headlines, MSN News, so I'll know who's the next Prime Minister. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's things about when the laws come in about cars, when there's major laws that affect me and affect my country, then obviously I'm going to find out. But if you think I'm going to sit and watch 50 different news stories about people dying, about the NHS trying to scare people into things, the government trying to scare people into not taking out mortgages and stuff, people then talking about wars and stuff. We know that it's all happening. These things are not just happening now, they've been happening for many years. There's always a war going on in some country. There's always something they're telling us not to do anymore, to do with your health. It's the same story over and over again, but there's the reason that they're just continuously feeding this stuff is to make people feel fearful. And when people are absorbing that, then there's nowhere then for that to go except for people to just feel really anxious, really depressed, because they've just been hearing these stories over and over again. Don't eat this, don't go there, don't do this. This has gone up on the rise. This is happening. This place is dangerous. Don't do that. You know, the amount of like stories that I've seen where people are saying the UK is really dangerous. Oh, you know, it's one of the worst countries to live in terms of violence. Now, everything is relative, isn't it, in life? If you live in a country where there's people, that's every country, then there are going to be elements of crime, because people will commit crime. So you can't just say that the whole country is like a dangerous country, based on the fact of maybe you've been a victim of crime in a particular area. But that's another story. I'm not going to get into that. So censorship really just means where you are filling your mind, you're filling yourself with balance. I believe in balance. You know, I'm not someone who's unrealistic, but I just feel that there's the negative, like sometimes the negative stuff can outweigh the positive. And in order to survive as a human being, and in order to have something to live for, in order to have a purpose, in order to feel good, do you know what I mean? Everyone wants to feel good. Everyone wants to be happy. So you're not going to get that if you don't censor some of the things that are making you feel bad. You know, so all I'm saying to people really is sometimes just look out there in the world. If you watch the social media, you would believe so many things that are not even fact or not even true. But if you actually get out in real life and experience life, then you'd see that, you know, there is a life where there is some good as well. So that's my little tip. I don't know if that was a tip. It was, but it wasn't short. But I hope you still enjoyed it, and if you did, feel free to leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Maybe if you can agree or disagree, but it's more about, importantly, that you share your voice, your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.